Family's everything to me. I feel very blessed to have grown up around some of the most incredible people I've ever met. I have incredible parents and three sisters who are all my role models. And Stanford's really been a home for all of us. As long as I can remember, I've been coming up here. Stanford has really treated my family so well. So my parents met here, played sports here, and then I've kind of followed in my older sister's footsteps here, and they were so successful. So I'm really thankful and appreciative for everything Stanford's done for my family. I think it's an incredible place.
You know, it wasn't by plan. It was by opportunity. I really got lucky. I met my wife, Kristen, here when we were freshmen, and this was a decision she made on her own to come here. We didn't know each other, and you know, she was looking at every top volleyball school in the nation, and this was the best combination for her academically and athletically. And the same was true for me. I could come here and play multiple sports. I love the team. I love the atmosphere. And I think that definitely rubbed off on our children. So, obviously we had Kate and Michaela who won 3 national titles, which playing on the women's volleyball team was great. Our son's here now. But Kristen's brother, Jimmy Klein, was a football volleyball guy here. Her other brother, Patrick, won a national title here on the men's volleyball team. So it's a deep-rooted tree, but not without offshoots. Our youngest, Carrie, is probably the best athlete and maybe the best student in our group, and she opted to go to Duke and play volleyball there. No one should forget is the best athlete in the family is by far my wife, Kristen Keefe, who was Kristen Klein. So she was the only four-time first-team All-American in the family and an Olympian in the '96 games. So whatever athleticism the kids get, it's from her. I think maybe I add a little bit of the mental edge.
My dad, incredible career here, second all-time in Pac-12 in rebounds. At the time he exited, I believe he was second all-time in points as well. He was an All-American here, 10th pick in the NBA draft, played 9 seasons in the NBA, and then 2 seasons overseas, was a 2-time Western Conference champion with the Utah Jazz. And again, Stanford Athletics Hall of Famer, and he has a million other awards that I cannot name here now, but incredibly storied basketball career. Then my older sisters are both 3-time national champions. They went to the Final Four all 4 years at Stanford, which is so incredible and impressive. My sister Michaela won the award for the highest GPA of a student athlete in the Final Four for women's volleyball. She's also Phi Beta Kappa. You get comparisons with my mom, my older sisters as well, and my father also played multiple years of college volleyball at Stanford. So I come from definitely a stronger volleyball family than basketball family. And I think I stopped playing volleyball my freshman year of high school, and at that time I was only 5'9" or 5'10", so I wasn't a great player. I'd like to think I would have been a great volleyball player if I had, decided to go down that route, but I never did. So just left to wonder. I've had a basketball in my hands as long as I can remember, really any ball. I played just about every sport growing up until I got to high school. Volleyball, football, cross country, track, I was running, I was swimming. Of course, being the son of an NBA player, you always hear comments about your dad. Wow, your dad was an incredible player, that's so cool. Your dad was an NBA, stuff like that. And so it was kind of always in my head, and as I got older, I grew a little bit, and I think just coincidentally, my interest also geared in towards basketball. It was probably the sport that I was the best at and what I enjoyed doing the most. I was a big basketball fan as long as I can remember. I believe around 8th grade or my freshman year of high school, I committed to myself and decided that I would start to take basketball very seriously and really give it my best shot.
What was really interesting for James is physically matured at an older age. It just took him a while longer to get more mature. And so it's really been fun to see his progress go from someone, who didn't make varsity as a sophomore in high school to, being maybe the best player on that varsity team in high school to, maybe being a borderline Pac-12 player to getting to the spot where he's earned a starting spot as a starting center at Stanford. It's been great to see his development, both mentally, aggressively, and physically, how his body's developed. So I coached all of our kids. I coached soccer, I coached youth basketball. I think there's a time where it's great to have other coaches and input as they get older, but still to this day, when he's home at summer stuff, we can work in the post together and we can work together. And yeah, there is definitely a time where you just realize he can do whatever he wants against me in the post, and I can do nothing other than just lean on him a little bit. But yeah, he's just he's developed to a point where, I'm not going to be able to do anything other than look at what he's doing and be able to critique or give him thoughts or ideas that might help him.
The best way to describe my game is that I leave it all out on the floor every time I play. I'm willing to sacrifice my body and everything that I have to help our team win. I play very hard. I'm a great rebounder. I'm a strong player. I finish inside. I like to think I'm a very good defender and that I have a good understanding of the game. I'm bumping you, hitting you the entire game, and trying to make your life as uncomfortable as it can possibly be. I think that's earned me a lot of mutual respect by other players in the conference, but also I'm no fun to play against. Growing up, hearing about the game of basketball from my father and how it should be played, I've learned so much from him. And things like offensive rebounding, things like cutting off the ball, stuff like that that may not be taught to most kids have always been really important to me because they're what helps the team win, doing those little things. And so I think there's a lot of similarities in our play styles.
I think I figured out that whatever level of success I was going to have, it was going to be through physicality. And so I was a guy that kind of embraced physical contact, and I wanted to create contact and initiate contact. The thing that I'm most proud of is he just has a tremendous motor. I think if people come and watch Stanford basketball, that they see that, and that's something that jumps out. I don't think he's the type of, he doesn't play in the way where anyone would say like, oh, he's got all the tools, and if he just played harder, he could be better. He obviously plays at a very high level. He pushes himself extremely hard. He tries to beat his opponent down the court every time, offensively, defensively. He wants to be on the floor for loose balls. He is a tough, physically minded player who loves the contact.
I'd like to think I'm a very consistent player, a consistent person. When I say something, I'll do it. And I think that that's a really important virtue, not just for basketball, but for life. Being able to bring that intensity every single day when you get to practice and, be positive, cheer on your teammates, but also understand that when you step on the court, it's a battlefield and you're going every single day against other people, and every single day is, again, a practice that you're training for a couple of those days in February and March when the season really comes down to it. And so I hope that the young guys can watch how I approach the game mentally and watch how I approach practice mentally and see how I play, and hopefully they can see that and emulate that and learn from that. On the court, my favorite moment is probably the buzzer beater last year. That's a dream of mine since I was a kid, to hit a buzzer beater. I think it's so many kids' dreams, and so few people get to do it. Not even including the fact that it was in March, our season was on the line. It was coupled with an incredible comeback where we were down double-digit points with 2 or 3 minutes to go, and the whole team kind of came together to work it all the way back. That was an absolutely incredible moment, a feeling that I'll never forget.
The easy one is last year at the Pac-12 tournament, and it was great to pick the loose ball up and hit the buzzer beater. Like that's fabulous. Those are special plays. You can give that sort of effort, but you don't always get the ball back. The offensive rebound doesn't always come your way. It's just something you have to do time after time after time, and eventually you'll get that, that golden opportunity.
I've been very lucky to have incredible coaches and staff, and my game has come a long way since I was a freshman. Physically, my body has completely changed. I'm 25 or 30 pounds heavier than I was when I first got in. I jump better, run faster, can run for longer. I was just trying to fit in and find any way I can to get on the floor and really worry about myself. And as I've grown up and my leadership role on the team has expanded, I'm now trying to think about what can I do to help our team win? How are other guys doing? How can I take care of our young guys? Because that's really what it takes for a team to be successful.
James Keefe works as hard as anybody in college basketball, handles his business so well. When adversity hits, he's always been just a worker, works through it, emotionally as stable as anybody I've ever been around. When you talk about the whole package, that's the way you talk about James Keefe. Obviously academically has achieved such a high level, and then on the court continues to take every barrier in front of him and seems to exceed any expectations that I have for him. And so he's been a thrill to coach, an absolute joy to coach, and I expect him to do big things in the future.